friends, it's Jackeline here. In today's video, I'm bringing you my review, demo, swatches, comparisons, and these two eye looks using the brand new McGrath Mothership 9 Utopian Dream Palette. But before we get started, and if you're new here, I hope that you can give me that opportunity and subscribe to my channel. Make sure you ring that post notification bell so you don't miss any of my uploads, and come and follow me on my Instagram. And now, if you want to know all the details about this palette, how I achieved these two eye looks, then just keep on watching. I'm super excited to be the last person on YouTube to be reviewing the new Mothership number 9 Utopian Dream Palette. I say the last person because believe me, I have seen so many reviews. So if you're here, I want to say thank you so much for stopping right here, because I know there are so many reviews out there and I greatly appreciate that support. I placed my order with McGrath. I had really good experiences lately with her, and right now my palette, I know it was cheap, but it's still in New Jersey. It was supposed to arrive on Tuesday, then on Wednesday, and now it says on Friday, but it's not moving from New Jersey. So hopefully everything is fine. So I ended up placing a second order, but this time around with Sephora. I will be leaving, by the way, all the details of this palette, where to find it, as well as the rest of my makeup on the description box below for your convenience. So this is the Mothership palette, the big 10-pound palettes that are just like so stunning, so amazing. At this point in time, I collect them. I have every single one, and we're gonna go through comparison swatches and two eyeshadow looks, so I'm super excited about these. So yes, this is the beautiful Unicorn. It looks stunning. I mean, this artwork is just so precious. Now, different from the other Mothership palettes, this one is not of that glossy finish. It's also not matte. It's a very like I'll say kind of like demi-gloss finish, and it has a shelf life of, I think it says here 18 months, yes, and it's made in Italy, just as all her other Mothership palettes. Okay, my friends, so here we go. This is the beautiful Mothership palette right here. Now on the back, you will see it have like this metal sheet that has engraved all the details. I really love all the components of the Mothership palettes. They are just so stunning, so beautiful. And actually, this time around, I have a little protector right here. So nice. And it's brand new lacquer. I mean, this is heavyweight stunning. Let's see the shades right here. Ooh, this is so gorgeous. And on this palette we have 3 matte shades, 4 metallics, 3 astral shades, glitch shades, or her special shades. Now this palette is fairly interesting because, like I said, usually these 4 last shades right here, they are her very special shades, so they look a little bit more baked. Now I only see 1, 2, and 3 that are the very special shades, and these are here. It's a special because it's a duochrome. You can see it has green and then burgundy. Yeah, so it's still special, but not the same formulation as we are used to see from her. Each of the Mothership palettes, they usually come with this card right here that tells you the names of each of your eyeshadows. Going now for swatches. Skin Show Nude Ecstasy Champagne with Golden Sheen. Secret Eden. Das Rose Mauve. Extreme Plum Noir Deepened Rich Crimson. Cosmic Bloom High Shine Metallic with Duochrome Effect. This one, yeah, it does have a little bit of a duochrome effect. It's pink on one side, and then you can see a little bit more of like an orangey tone to it. Bronze Desire Warm Golden Bronze. Chalk Wave, a mid-tone coral pink. Bronze Solaris 005, a golden bronze. Blitz Sextreme Bright Magenta Bronze and Chartreuse. And this is very much alike to Sextraterrestrial, the one that is already on her Divine Rose 2 palette. We will compare it definitely. Astral Venusian Orchid Peach Champagne with Chartreuse Gold Shift. Astral Amethyst Moon Lilac with Pink Shift. With this collection, Pat McGrath has also come out with an Intensify Artistry one. I will be putting a picture right here. I went ahead and purchased it. Like I said, I placed my first order with Pat McGrath, but I didn't want to risk it, and unfortunately it's not here. But I was reading and putting very close attention to what the description said, and it seems like this pen is basically not a glitter glue. It says that it adheres the shimmer shades, but it doesn't say anywhere that is a type of glue, but rather to me it seems like it's kind of like a hybrid in between, say, a MAC Fix Plus or a Maron kind of product. I'm also looking at the ingredient list. It's not as the, what is it called, Master something from Makeup by Mario. It's not like that. It's a combination between something that is gonna give a little bit of a stickiness and at the same time intensify, like I was saying, like a mixing medium. So anyhow, I will be putting it on the test. Perhaps let me know if you want to see more eyeshadow looks with this palette, and we can take it from there. I'm so sorry, but you know, there's the stuff that sometimes goes out of my control, but let's see how it performs. So first I'm gonna start with my Refer number 16 brush, and I'm gonna go to the shade Secret Eden, and I'm applying it above the crease. Such nice pigmentation. Scott Barnes number 62 brush, and going to the shade Extreme Plum Noir, and I'm gonna take this shade on the outer third of my eyelid. Smith 253 brush and the shade Bronze Solaris 005, and I'm gonna apply this shade inner portion of the eyelid. Now this shade is very chunky, and I mean, it's there, but kind of not there. So I'm gonna go ahead and just apply it with a little bit of MAC Fix Plus, which I'm thinking that the Artistry one from the Intensify Eyes Artistry one from Pat McGrath will do, if you want them not only to stick but also to have that, you know, like an extra oomph to them. Smith 253 brush, and I'm gonna go to Astral Venusian Orchid. This shade right here is stunning. It does have a flip between a pink and then like a light pink and then a champagne tone. It's so gorgeous. And I'm going to apply it right in the middle of my eyelid. I'm going to go with the same shade, and I'm just going to apply it with my finger. This is a stunning, gorgeous shade. It looks wet. BK Beauty 202 brush, and I'm going to the shade Chalk Wave, and I'm just gonna apply it over top just to kind of create like a gradient. Refer 3 brush, and let's go for Secret Eden. I'm applying this shade on my lower lash line. Sonia G Flat Definer, and we're gonna go to Extreme Plum Noir, and I'm applying this shade very close to my lower lash line. Refer 23 brush and the shade Astral Amethyst Bloom, and I'm gonna apply this shade wet with some MAC Fix Plus. Refer 03 brush, and I'm gonna go to Skin Show Nude Ecstasy, and I'm using this shade for my inner corner and also for my brow bone. Done with this first look, and now let's go for the second look. I'm gonna go with the Refer number 16 brush and to the shade Chalk Wave, and I'm gonna apply it above the crease. Sonia G Classic Crease and the shade Extreme Plum Noir, And I'm applying it on the outer third of the eyelid. Sonia G Builder Pro and Bronze Desire. And I'm applying it very close to the outer third and the middle. But I'm trying to contain it just in one spot. Smith 253 brush and Cosmic Bloom. And I'm applying it on the inner third of my eyelid. Sonia G Builder and the shade Astral Amethyst Moon. And I'm applying it completely dry first. Now I'm going back to that same shade with the same brush, but now I'm gonna apply it wet with some MAC Fix Plus. Now if you go with your finger, you're gonna get way more payoff. Sonia G Soft Definer and the shade Shockwave. And I'm applying this shade on the lower lash line, just diffusing it. Sonia G Flat Definer and the shade Extreme Plum Noir. And I'm applying it very close to the lower lash line. Refer 03 brush and the shade Skin Show Nude Ecstasy. And I'm applying this shade on my brow bone. Refer 23 brush and I'm going to go to Astral Venusian Orchid. And I'm going to wet this shade with MAC Fix Plus. And I'm applying it on the inner portion of my eyelid. And now I haven't applied any blush. And I think there are two shades right here that you can actually use them as blush. This shade right here and this one. So first I'm going to go with this shade, Shockwave. Definitely this makes up a beautiful blush shade. Now I'm going with Secret Eden, this shade over here, and see how this goes. A lot more cool tone, but it still has some rosiness and that mauve tone. Now going with Refer number 20 brush, I'm going to go to this shade right here called Skin Show Nude Ecstasy, and I'm going to use it as a highlighter. For comparisons, let's start with Voyeuristic Vixen, which is the latest quad from Pat McGrath. And especially with these four lash shades, I wanted to compare it. So I have already swatched Voyeuristic Vixen right here. And this is, again, all the new Pat McGrath Utopian Dream Palette. So as you can tell, yeah, there are some really good similarities right there. I mean, that cuts off about, they're not exactly the same shades per se. I would say this shade and this shade, they are pretty similar. Same thing with this shade and this shade. So yeah, and then this shade right here has a beautiful flip. I think this is what it makes of this quad right here so special. Now going with Divine Rose number 2. Let me just put it side by side with the new Utopian palette. As you can tell, there's, you know, plenty of similarities right here. In the first one that cuts our eye is this shade right here from Utopian Dream, and then Sextraterrestrial. The main difference I will say is Sextraterrestrial has more of like a light black flip, while Blitz Sextreme it has a green flip but with a little bit more pink. So I have Sextraterrestrial right here, and this one right here is from Utopian palette, Blitz Sextreme. And let's see, I'm just gonna swatch them right here. Now I went ahead and swatched Divine Rose number 2 right here. So it starts from here all the way down here. And let's just make quick comparison right there. Now another shade that I think a lot of people are really interested to know if this is equal or not is this shade right here, which is Astral Amethyst Moon, and from Midnight Sun, this purple shade right here down below. And I will have to say they are very different. The one from Utopian palette is very much lilac, while this one here has more of like a blue tint to it. It's still purple, but it has a blue tint to it. And then why not, since we're here, this palette right here, I don't remember which Mothership is this. I think it's number 2 or 3. I don't remember. I will make sure to put it also in the description below, but let's go ahead and swatch these two purple shades right here. This one right here is definitely more blue, and this one right here has a little bit more depth to it. Very, very different. Now let me swatch this shade right here, which it has a pink to an orange flip to it. It's a gorgeous shade too. And I'm just gonna put it down below here. And now from Ritualistic Rose, let's try this shade right here, which is just amazing. And I'm gonna go ahead and put it down here. It's a beautiful pink flip. And let's just compare it to this shade right here from the Utopian palette. Very similar though. I will say Utopian has more lilac in it, while the one from Ritualistic Rose, it has more pink in it. I almost forgot about this beautiful Fleur Fantasia. Oh, this is gorgeous. So I'm thinking more on this shade over here from Fleur Fantasia. Oh yeah. And then let's go ahead from Utopian. We're gonna go to this shade and then this shade right here. There's Fleur Fantasia and Utopian and Utopian. And then for the fun of it, let's go to Risque Rose. This quad right here, and I'm gonna swatch this shade right here. She has a very interesting flip between a lavender shade and also a little bit of silver in it. So there you go. These two are from the Utopian palette. Just swatch over here. So many comparisons right here, my friends. I hope that this really helps you. And now going into my final thoughts about Mothership number 9 palette, the Utopian Dream palette. Okay, so first things first, the promo images of this beautiful palette right here, really, I think everybody said the same thing. We were really expecting a little bit more of like, quote unquote, no, I mean, like, I wasn't looking for a super rainbow palette, but I was looking for getting out of that Divine Rose zone that we had been at, because honestly, I mean, we had Divine Rose 1, Divine Rose 2, then we had the little Divine Rose quad. I mean, we had enough of roses, right? And when we saw more than anything the type of videos and inspiration images, we saw a lot of these rainbow, but it was pastel-y rainbow. And yes, I will have to agree that this could have been, yeah, Divine Rose number 3 with a little bit of a flip with these beautiful purpley shades right here that they are just stunning. But taking it aside to the Divine Rose, you know, like series per se, I will have to say that the palette is beautiful. If you don't have any, or you just have like 1 or 2 McGrath Mothership palettes, you will truly enjoy it. I mean, there's no repeated shades right here. I mean, it is a palette that it can stand alone. You can create from very simple, more everyday look using these shades right here. You know, like, you'll be fine with it. I really love the different type of formulation that it's offering right here, and each of the formulas work beautifully. The matte shades, they were pigment enough that I was able to, if you use a fluffy brush, you're able to actually diffuse it with ease, or using a more packing brush, you're able to pack it. And like, the quality of the eyeshadows, the formulation really are beautiful. I will have to say though, I don't see why the need to repeat the shade. And I say repeat the shade because although it's not the same thing as extraterrestrial, it's so close. Also, it's not her very special formula. It's more of like a simple duochrome. And don't take it wrong, I like this type of shades, but these very dark flip between maroon and very deep green, sometimes some people like me, I do have, you know, I'm already on my 4th floor, I do have more of like you know, wrinkles on my eyelids and, you know, more folds. Sometimes that flip is not quite appealing. I would much rather have seen another of this formulation, but say like a very light blue with a very kind of like limey green flip. That would have been stunning, amazing, like combining these two shades right here. Very light. I would have loved to see that. Also, we have seen so much golds on Pat McGrath palettes that I think she definitely had room to do something different, something perhaps even with this type of shade right here, something that had more of like a true coral tone with a flip. I mean, it could have been even a flip with gold, but you know what I mean, something a little bit more fun and different. Another thing right here, we see this shade in pretty much every single Mothership palette, so to me it was kind of like, why is there is really not much need for it. I would have rather have like a very nice purple tone in the palette, you know, just a matte purple tone, something that, you know, it can give us another, you know, a little bit more dimension, because otherwise the only shade that allows us to make our eyeshadow deeper is this shade right here. But if she would have had a matte purple tone, it would have been a more, you know, more playful palette. Now, if we talk about that, if this is your first palette and you're not a person like me that I have every single Mothership palette, I think every single eyeshadow, yeah, I mean, like I have so much of, you know, Pat McGrath. I see this palette will be just perfection for you, and it is for me too, but in the point of view of a person that has so many palettes, it's like, there was so much opportunity to do in here. But other than that, I will have to say, again, if this was my first Mothership palette, if I didn't have, like, say for example, the Divine Rose 2, I would have picked this one instead, because if you know me, guys, you know I love good purple lilac tones, and this to me is amazing. The palette is stunning. Now with these shades right here, with all of her astral shades, the astral glitz shades, you will find fallout because it is very micro fine glitter. Still, like even when you swatch it, you see, you know, like little chunks of glitter, but they are not super chunky. Usually I use these shades right here in the evening when I go out for an evening. I don't use it like morning time unless it's, you know, kind of event that I want to really like look like super glam. And I usually do not find so much trouble with fallout, but I see like using it all day long, you'll find just perhaps a tiny bit of fallout. So that being said, it makes me happy that she has come out with this Intensify Eye wand that I'm dying to try it. I really want to try it, because otherwise usually when I use the Mothership palettes and when I go with her special shades, I usually use my NYX glitter glue. You know, guys, you don't need something expensive for, you know, like sticking on some glitter or, you know, like very shimmer eyeshadow. With these, you know, it's just perfect. I have shown it in another video, I think 2 videos ago or something like that. Anyhow, friends, so I'm super excited to try that. I will have to say, would I recommend this palette? 100%. Now, if you have all the palettes from Pat McGrath, I will have to say, well, at that point, perhaps you are a collector like myself, so might as well, you will need to pick this up. But what I wanted to say right here is that you will be so happy with this palette. It's so beautiful from presentation, the out, and like absolutely everything works fine. My only thing to say is like I wish to have another astral shade right here and not the same shade, but other than that, I'm like I said, this is a beautiful palette. If this is your first palette, you love lilac shade, purple shades, oh my gosh, you will be in love because this is a beauty. Okay, my friends, and now I would love to know from you, have you picked up the new Utopian Dream Palette? Is it on your wish list? Let's continue the conversation on the comment section down below. And while you're at it, and if you haven't done so yet, I hope that you can give me that opportunity and subscribe to my channel. Make sure you ring that post notification bell so you don't miss any of my uploads, and come and follow me on my Instagram. If you like this video, do not forget to give it a thumbs up. Also share with family and friends. And until the next time, I hope you have a beautiful, wonderful day. Bye!